Probably be on for like an hour and some change. See if anybody comes up though. See what's going on. So everybody doing? How everybody feeling? See what's going on. Set everything up real quickly. Gotta do everything up real quickly. You know how I do it. Get this thing on real quick. Let's see, let me set this thing up. Monetization is on. Gonna get up in there. We're gonna come back again. See what I got. See what we got real quick. That thing acting funny. There we go. Okay, we are on today. Start this off real quick. Pin that message. So anyway, we're gonna talk about how about them Cowboys. When them Cowboy fans come on here, I don't think they're gonna show up today though. We gonna see though. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, hello. I got you first time. Got you right here. I am sending out messages. So I got you the first time. Just tell me who you are and say who you are. What's happening? So what's going on? How y'all doing? So what's going on? How y'all doing? Coming to you live. See what's up, what's up. I am now here live and in the place to be. So we are here now. So we're going to see what we got real quick. Hope everybody's doing good. So, yeah, the Cowboys. Yeah, it is football season. Now, I could talk about basketball. I could talk about Giannis and Antetokounmpo hitting that game-winning shot, which was sick. He called game, set, match. That was impressive. But we are in football season, and we got a way to go with football. We can't really get into the NBA unless something astronomical happens, and it's got to be something special. So far, it's starting. It's still early in the NBA, but the NFL is getting late in the day. And if the Dallas Cowboys fans, your record is 351. I didn't say an area code, and I didn't see a code. I said 351. That's your actual record. You suck. You got smashed by Arizona at the crib. Woo! With the backup. I don't think some people are going to show up in here. I got a funny feeling they won't show up. I understand why. I wouldn't show my face either if I was a Cowboy fan. So now they done lost to Philly, Arizona, Carolina. Who else did they lose to? Mm. Help me out. What Dallas has had losses to? I got to think. Anyway, I know they got a lot of them. They stink, and their season is about, it's done. I think with 5 losses, you're about over. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. Thank you. I'm trying to think who all that they lose to. I lost track. When you got all them L's, you can't keep track of all them L's that it took. And they gonna take some more too. They suck. I mean, they really aren't. Oh yeah, lost to Chicago. Yeah, let me take that back. Chicago, Carolina, Arizona, Philly. Yeah. That's just some of it right there. I can't think of who else they. Oh, I forgot who else tore them up. It's embarrassing though. So anyway, long season. So anyway, what's going on? How you doing? We talk about whatever. I have to just start off with something that's just kind of random. Just in chill mode. It's a welcome to Tuesday. Could be morning, could be afternoon, could be night, could be early Wednesday morning, depending on where you are. So thank you for coming through. If you got questions, comments, feel free. I don't know. I really don't pay a lot of attention. You was asking me this stuff about Gucci Mane. I really don't put a lot of stock or interest in him, if you must know. Because to be honest with you, musically speaking, I ain't really thought about Gucci in about 15 years, if I'm honest. And when you are female and you got to work with somebody that's known and it's a male, chances are you're always riding behind them. What's up? Thank you for coming through. I'm always glad to see you. And you were one of the first people I thought of about that whole series. I really did. And I did ache for you because it really is to give up 2 home runs, 8th inning and the 9th inning. I'm doing good, man. I was thinking about you. Now see, that's a good question. I for some, depends on where you live. So for some. No, 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 no. I understand because y'all were 7-game series, and that thing was hard fought. And I saw Magic Johnson talking about. I mean, both of them deserve a piece of that. I mean, really, because the thing about Toronto, and you can agree or disagree, if they score 6 runs, they beat the Dodgers every time. If they score under 6, they lose. And it was a trip. It was a trip. It was a trip how that whole thing played out. It really was. I think y'all could come back. I did do a video about Vlad Guerrero. We're always equal opportunists. Even though Shohei Ohtani, I kid you not, is like another level. And Yamato too. Yamato bad. It's just that I think Dave Roberts is a heck of a manager. I think he's the best in baseball going. I think maybe in all the sports, as far as I'm concerned, pro sports. Yep. Well, when you get to that position and you're fighting for a ring and title, you do whatever you got to do. Hey, if the ball boy, hey, if the Lakers can use Bronny James, you can use your ball boy. Okay, I'm just saying. So do what you got to do. That's why I say he's the best manager in baseball, maybe all the sports. Roberts is a smart dude, yo. As a Yankee fan, I'll always remember him. That stolen base changed the landscape of that series, that 3-0. And he is a guy who knows about clutch and coming up. The guy got 3 rings now, so you can put him in the same conversation with Joe Torre, Tony La Russo, Sparky Anderson, and I dare anyone to say something. Because out in LA, he's in there with the conversation with Pat Riley and Phil Jackson. When you win multiple rings and you deal with it in this era, that's a dynasty. Shoot, 3 and 5. I don't know what you want. Shoot. Well, you can be a hater all you want. That's a bad dude. Now, the only thing I got against him, he be gambling. He learned a little English and he knew who Ice Cube was. But that turkey is bad. That's a bad dude. I ain't that dude, he got the goods. And that might be the baseball equivalent to Shaq in the terms of leaving one spot, going to another, and just coming in and dominating. And he about to get another MVP. I mean, it's incredible. For LA, that's what you sign up, not what LeBron James did, but what old Tiny done. Because Ruth played in a no black league. Ruth played where they allow a ground rule double was counted as a home run. So he had a lot, and and it was a handicap. It was an asterisk. Can't say nothing about what Old Town is doing because Pete Rose came out of his mouth and said, "You from Japan? It don't count the same." So what's it say about a cat that comes over here and can bust cakes just like he back at home? So I saw what's happening. What's happening? I didn't think some people were gonna show up today because them Cowboy fans. I didn't know they're gonna come up. I wouldn't. I thought about some folks with the Cowboys. I thought you ain't gonna show your face up in here. No, no. I just give what credit's due. When you winning like that, nah, man, I got much respect for you, but you gotta get off that wagon. That wagon ain't got no tires. No, Tiny then made a believer. He made when he won MVP with the Angels. Now he come over to the Dodgers, and Mookie Betts is like Mookie Betts ain't chopped liver. Mookie Betts is considered like the modern day Ricky Henderson, as close as you can get. And then Mookie Betts up there like, wow, this dude. Because Mookie know how to win. So when you stockpiling back-to-back chips and MVPs, and you're doing it in the regular season and the postseason, something Aaron Judge ain't doing, I gotta call it like I call it. Ask Bryce Harper about Shohei Ohtani. You remember Bryce Harper? I don't know. I feel like Bill Walton now. I don't know if you're old enough to remember when Bryce Young was. Shush. What's happening, Tom? He should have been retired. Yeah, his dad was incredible. Guerrero, great talent. Yeah, I mean, your body. Well, you gotta remember, them cats was going at it. I mean, TSP will tell you, Toronto ain't nothing to sneeze at. Them bats ready to unload. You get tired. Shoot, you play 18 inning game. Shoot, they play 2 games in one, and you gotta do all that traveling. Thank you for telling it that. Good to see you, Tom. Thank you. Yes, please do. And I welcome people who want to hit the likes, and please do hit the post. Most people be hitting that poll question, but no, I mean they got the Dodgers are like I said before. I look at Dave Roberts; he's a machine, yo. He really is, you know. And when you winning like that, Oh, I'm gonna take the Beatles on that one. But the Manfred song is catchy though. That's kind of an oddball one, but I'll take it though. But anyway, no. Some people just don't like to talk about the Cowboys, that's all. It's okay. I couldn't believe the way as flat as they looked last night though. And if it wasn't for that block punt, they but would have had an Easter egg at halftime. I mean, they really mm. You ain't missed nothing. No, because is Dak hurt? I think that's the last thing. First of all, Scheinheimer is over his head. He is in over his head. You got to have a consistent running game. You have to have consistent receivers. You have to play some defense. You cannot be just, I think he's in over his head. He talks a good game, but he ain't never brought nothing to the table. And hey, look, I will say it like this for you Cowboy fans. Y'all call me a hater all you want. Jalen Hurts has many Super Bowl appearances. Dak Prescott got playoff wins. Let that sink in and then get back to me. Let that sink in. And Jalen's been playing half as long as Dak. And I don't want to hear about all this talent because Cowboys were stacked a couple years ago. They were stacked. He couldn't get the job done. He had Meathead McCarthy too. You don't want to watch that. If Jacoby Brissett is tearing your behind up, you don't want to watch that. Me and my homeboy used to call him Jacob Brisket or Biscuit. That's what we used to call him. Brissett is what we call a lifelong third tier quarterback who can play as a second and occasionally look like a first. But if he gets out there and gets poised on your behind, he will beat you. Y'all just stink. Y'all got an area code too, 351. 351. Go call the Cowboys. You can't be a game manager if you can't make considerable passes. First of all, he don't do no down checks. Everything with him is heaved. And second of all, they don't run with consistency. They don't utilize their tight end, so he can't manage nothing. They ain't got nothing to manage. Because CeeDee Lamb is a lamb, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. Aaron Rodgers is like one of the baddest regular season quarterbacks I ever seen, but postseason ain't much in the tank. And for all the hoopla, ain't much there. Yeah, and they could be doing that with James Cook, and and he be running like Sam Cook. He be sending them, but they don't utilize smarts, and they don't have a playmaking receiver because it could be a more explosive offense. And I'm gonna say it like this: yes, they beat Kansas City, but I ain't excited until it's January. It don't mean a whole lot. And the other problem that they run into is that for all that, Patrick Mahomes still threw a couple off his back and was in the game. There was no reason for you to believe at the beginning. I saw all I need to see with the Cowboys when Russell Wilson shaved 10 years off his age. That right there told me that y'all in for a long butt season. When y'all had Russell Wilson on putting up almost a 40 burger on you, I knew y'all suck right there. That told me all I need to know. Because Russell Wilson ain't going to do that in a whole year. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Because shoot, you give him a decent offensive line and consistency, shoot, he is. He is. And that's the sad part because the reason why even I got to say him over Josh Allen, he's just more poised. He gets it done. Josh is routine and groove, but Josh be trying to, poke the bear, and they got to do too many things. Patrick Mahomes does not have consistency with nothing, and they still make something out of nothing. You still got that he could come back on you. Remember, as good as the Bills played, it went by 7. So that's not like, hey, you got to be so meticulous and he is that great. That's why I put him in the class with Montana and with Brady. That's the table he sits at, far as I'm concerned. Those are my 3, and you can debate who your 4, 5, whatever is. Those are my 3. So, because I know good and well that what's happening with you, what's happening. was shaking. Yeah, I mean, I look at the totality. Well, y'all need to start playing some good football. You don't come in here talking about no mess and y'all know y'all suck. Now, when you camped out the first 5 years of your career at the AC Championship game, you know nothing before January 31st. You a bad man. Think about his career. That's like on some Tiger Woods tip. Steph Curry-ish. That's dominance. And remember, his class of quarterbacks, you had a Joe Burrows, you had a Josh Allen MVP, you didn't have Lamar Jackson 2-time MVP. Nothing to sneeze at. That's his peers. It ain't been your year in years, okay? That's the bottom line. The bottom line is y'all suck. Y'all need to get rid of Jerry Jones. Y'all need to revamp. Y'all need to get rid of Dak. Y'all need to get some people in there that are, not really. We beat them every time we play them, except when it counts. Beat them in January, I'm impressed. Beating them now, a love boat for me. Even though they both trap, I take the love boat. But kind of two different types of shows because Gilligan's Island had more of a cast that had more connection. The love boat, their personalities, but it was more everything with Captain Steuben, different things. It hit me in different ways. I'd be more inclined to watch the love boat of the two. Now, I'd be impressed if we actually go and beat that butt in January. But I don't know because I don't know what the Bills are going to do. They got to beat New England. They got to catch New England. They got to hope the Colts have hiccups, and they got to figure out how to get 1 or 2 second seed in the AFC. That's the only way they're going to have hope. I'm not sold on the Bills if they got to go on the road. So I keep thinking this is the year. This year more so than any because I don't think they have another year in them where they can fool around. And you're probably right. And I'm not gonna sit around here and say otherwise to you because if you ask me point blank, and one thing about this channel, what I do, and TSP will know, and I keep it 100. The best team I've seen in the AFC right now is New England because they got a better defense than we do. They win ugly, they win different ways, but they playing the right way. And say if Tom Brady was quarterback and the way Drake May is playing, I'd say you go ahead and put them in the Super Bowl right now. They look the best. The Colts are interesting, but I don't know if you can trust Daniel Jones. If Kansas City had an inkling of consistency, I'd say watch out. Denver's got all the rabbit's foots, but I can't trust Bo Nixon. Can't trust just Herbert. They suck. They first of all, they get all those turnovers and they barely beaten the Colts. They played a great game. They can't really even dominate. They can't dominate. Man, Aaron Rodgers could get hit one good time, that could be it. They're not a threat. Someone said it best. I think it was Nick Wright or somebody said it best about them. They don't turn the ball over, they can be with anybody. And if they turn the ball over, they can lose to anybody. So, that's the way. I don't trust the Steelers. Not in the big picture. You talking about Dallas? Man, you need a whole makeover. You need like a Tim Allen makeover. You suck. No one's taking Dallas serious, y'all. The only thing that's making y'all look good is because Washington sucks and the Giants stink. That's the only reason. Only reason. I don't know who that is, and I got rid of that turkey. I don't do this ain't Troll University. You were. No one says that, Mr. Moore. Yeah. Probably around this time tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you. I'll send you a message. I'm glad you did show up today, though. I'm gonna be on for probably like an hour today because I got probably yeah. At least want to get an hour in. But yeah, I'll be on tomorrow. Tomorrow and probably Thursday. But I'm not gonna be on Friday, Saturday. What's happening? How you doing? Appreciate because people like yourself making it grow. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. And you're a Falcon fan. Good luck with your team. You should have beaten New England. Man, how you get stuck with that Poochie kicking them balls? Man. I hope so. Dang, because Geno Smith sucked. Boy, and that whole thing with Jacksonville was crazy. Dude kick a 68-yard field goal. That mess was crazy. That was crazy. Hey, I hope so. Yeah, well, so I have to like send a message. What's happening? I have to send a message because YouTube, sometime on here. And I have to send a message out on the general and oh man, the Dolphins need to go in they need to go in the witness protection program. Yeah, yeah. So in case y'all want to know, yes, I'm be into basketball, but I wait till after football's over before we get into the NBA because we know the NBA don't count till you get the All-Star break anyway. I can talk about it, you know. The problem with the Falcons is that they just inconsistent. And why they stuck with Poochie kickers? Because you could be a dangerous team. You could be one of them teams that could be a problem in the first round. Your defense is young and aggressive. I like what I see. And I like Michael Penix because I go back when he was with UW, but too inconsistent. I hope Raheem don't get fired. Yeah, I mean, I'm watching Giannis in the game winning shot last night. John Morant don't want to play. And all the Laker hope and all the other mess going on, but I can't really get into it right now because it don't really mean nothing early. Yeah, Michael Penix is nice, y'all. You got a real one if they can develop it the right way. No, just themselves really. I think Shea's the baddest cat going. Ain't nobody in the East gonna beat him. Well, the problem is inconsistency, and they already did get rid of their offensive coach. And I just think that they too inconsistent for their own good. Because I can tell you like this: put it together, you can beat Tampa Bay. We know that Michael Penix already looked better than Baker. It took Baker Mayfield 10 years to get half that good. Only if their guard play comes up, their bench is healthy, and Wemby doesn't go down with no injury. They got to be consistent. If they can stay afloat more than 60, 70 games of the season, yeah. An album depends on who you like. Depends on who you like. What's happening? How you doing? Yeah, they've been trying to do that. They are, but they gotta stop bringing Jacksonville to you. No, if the coach don't get in the way, and that was a big win against Detroit. Well, the problem so if I'm Atlanta, obviously West Coast offense, and I try to get me one of the meaty backs like it used to have. Like if you get your William Andrews, you get you something that's, you know, get you somebody that has got some body to him, catch passes out the routes. You know, I think they could be all right. You know, the biggest problem with Atlanta though is consistency. That's all. You know, not now, but they, he should. Now, now, because for as bad as Daniel Jones looked like his old self, they still was in the game. And Pittsburgh really didn't hand it to him. The Colts had a bad game. Um, oh, that's funny. First of all, you can't say better and squad in the same sentence if you're a Cowboys fan. Because if that's the case, then why are you underachieving so bad? And second of all, you don't play no defense against the run. So ain't nobody taking you serious. Ain't nobody take y'all serious. Cowboys got all the makings of a 500 team at best. And at worst, could lose about 8 or 9 games. I don't think they got the talent because I don't think that they got I think the running game is good, not great. I think the second slot receiver is decent. I like the tight end. Offensive line is spotty. They all right. They don't get no pass rush on the line. Only when they play against tomato cans, even when Michael Parsons was there, they weren't dominant on defense. They don't have no drive, and they don't have that alpha. No, the run is getting treated like a turkey. It's getting basted. Yeah, 2016, he played out his mind. He played like a brother that wanted that job. And Tony Romo, you know how Jerry Jones felt about Romo. He played his best ball those first 2 years, and Ezekiel Elliott before Ezekiel went down to Mexico and lost his mind. They that was the closest that they looked like they were something. That's a lifetime ago. Okay, no, no, he ain't because how's he look lately? Ain't no MVP gonna stink it up against no look that bad against Denver like that. He looked garbage. And he had nice games. Well, what about when the defense was carrying his behind and he was turning the ball over and they called him out 2 years ago, remember? Now, he looked horrible against the Broncos. When Bo Nixon is eating your behind up on the other side, you suck. So I don't know what you're talking about this MVP talk. He stunk in that game. He's all right. What's happening, Calvin? Okay. Denise Williams because the song had more weight to it, but the vocals on both are classic. I love Stacey Lassaw. Let Me Be Angel was a cut, but and great timbre in her voice. But Free is like an anthem, and with her voice, and you put that all together. So love them both, but it's Denise on that one because of the lyrical content. Pendergrass or James Brown, as far as what as an artist? You talking about as far as artists? Or are you talking about as far as singing? It depends on which category you coming from. Because if we talking just the artistry, it's James Brown all the way. If we talking about as far as the vocals, it's Teddy. Depends on which area we going. If I'm going for the whole shebang, it's James Brown. Maybe. Oh, really? Thank you for that. Yes, I remember Victor Conti because he was with Tower of Power. No, I don't vote. I refuse to. Give me some reparations. I don't trust none of them. And I can tell you horror stories about both parties. Oh, he did, huh? Say he went from base to Balco. Yeah, it's a plantation. It's a setup. You know. First of all, if they were really about something, do you really think that you're gonna sit there and let a guy who get convicted of 34 times or felon, and y'all just sit there and roll over and let him do what he want to do? That's embarrassing. What's the Supreme Court for? Shit, you want to talk about rigged system? Please, school system don't teach you nothing, and you can't buy into stuff that people want to understand that when you talk about gentrification, when you don't want to take care of neighborhoods and places, he won't. The only reason why he running because he don't get locked up. Good and well he should be kicking it with Diddy at Fort Dix. Everybody know that. Shoot, Delphonics, and I do love Blue Magic. I look as uh like you, but Delphonics got him. It's tear levels. He been looking sick. Shoot, eating all that McDonald's. I'll tell you a funny story. We got on the bus today. There's this cat looked just like him. Had a cap on. I was cracking up. I said, "Dang, they got Trumpkins." Because he be, hey, it's evil, what I call it, evil karma. That dude got some sick karma. Don't compare nobody to Michael Jackson. Please don't do that. You can talk about NBA young boy. You wake me up. They try to say it about C Breezy, Usher. Wake me up in 20, 30 years. Wake me up 20, 30 years. No, good and well, ain't nobody gonna have no Michael Jackson run. You talking to the wrong person. I saw Michael Jackson when he was alive and what he was about. Ain't nothing touching no Michael Jackson, the most dominant musical artist of my lifetime. Turkeys be having a little run, and y'all up here talking about, ooh, ooh, ooh. Michael Jackson go all over the world and has statues of him. Shoot, I can go to the department store right now, put a Michael Jackson video on, someone gonna stand there and get gluey eyed. Michael Jackson videos was like, so did Michael Jackson. So did C Breezy. Don't mean that when you start saying stuff like that, you better back it up with some proof, not no streams. That mess don't count. Ain't nobody walking around with no young boy glitter glove on, hamburger helper glitter glove, S curl and zippy jackets on, and shimmying in the sidewalks. Come on now. That's what I be trying to tell people. Just like you better leave our icons alone. Especially when you got careers. You can't compare some turkey that's making it off of streams to someone that had people actually bought records and saved a whole industry. They probably worry he'll get hurt. Oh, Michael's estate's gonna always make the bag. He been gone almost 20 years and he still make the bag. Cause I'm just saying, they still sell a million copies of Thriller album on Vine on actual play. So you can't compare. No, I just think that Wemby's consistency. So if someone asks me up above, could they beat Sharp? I mean, could they beat OKC? I'm like, he got to be impressive. Let me address one at a time. I think I'm gonna start. Oh God, I think I gotta go with Jamal Murray. If he says if we played against the Lakers, he'd be in all. He'd be. Then he goes in there. Well, Chauncey would probably come off the bench. Then I have to cut KJ, and only because Chauncey was clutch for Detroit. He was clutch, and Jamal Murray is clutch. That's the difference. Um, Wimby. Yeah, Wimby. When I think about Rick Smits, depends on what team he's with. Depends on what structure he's with. You know, to answer that question, because the '90s would put wood on your back. So he'd have to be, yeah. All right, catch you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you. Yeah, but again, taking it back there depends on who he's playing with. Depends on what team he's got. You know, if he could repost and low post and he could fade, he might cut something. All depends on who he's playing with. I think he's got that problem right now. He's laying the cakes now because they're not dominant. I mean, he could score, and I'm in favor of the best team winning. So if you get your butt blow out, you get your butt blow out. Close games are great because that's for the fans. But sometimes if you're a dominant team, you won't see someone blow somebody out. Yeah, but what would happen? He'd alienate the team. And then what? And then his behind will start getting hungry and get sad and break down. So he probably will when LeBron's not there. This is not even fair. Of course, I'm going to start at SGA. And you gotta, sad to say, you gotta bench Luca, and you probably gotta cut Wemby only because of this. Luca's been to a finals. Wemby hasn't even got, and that's what we're looking at right now. Sometimes it be like that. Go insane. I like that by Lindsey Buckingham too. Because Lindsey's underrated as a multi-instrumentalist and singer. And I like Paul Young a lot too. I like Paul Young. Because 40 years ago, every time you go away, tell your playoffs guy, and I was bumping Paul Young. I'm not going to answer any questions about religion. But if you want to, if you want any of those kind of personal questions, hit me up on Facebook. I won't answer that in a public forum. This is a very private, very public place. So I'm not going to answer that out of respect. Because then a lot of people are coming at me. So, prime Harden. Because Luka ain't really shook me like Harden did. Harden had people thinking he was as good as Kobe, Jordan, and D Wade. Luka ain't quite cracked like that. Not yet. I have watched blowout games, but it depends on who's the opponent. Basketball games. That's who he remind me of, though. It depends. Depends on who teams we're talking about. I'm not gonna watch Ohio State or Michigan beat on some AT&T, Anaheim AT&T. I'll watch that mess. At their best, I think Harden had more moves, but I'm more of a Drexler fan. Harden was elite, though. It's close, though. I like to think Drexler could get him, but Harden is tough, though. That Euro step, he had it going on, too. And when he scores his 30,000th point, that's going to be the first time where people are going to have asterisks and question marks about exactly what the numbers mean. He's going to be the most polarizing with it because he ain't going to know with no ring. And that's the thing. I take Drexler over. Oh, T-Mac, come on now. That's not even funny. Gilbert was never on T-Mac's level. He had some out-of-body moments. He wasn't on the same. Almost everybody you can mention. I don't think Barkley was a great defender, but he did enough to get by. I think, you beat people with what you do best. So, take Magic Johnson, for instance. You couldn't stop that goal. So, he did what he did best. Bird, too. I think they were necessarily great defenders, but they got over and did what they did best. Defense is different ways. I think Steph Curry might fall into that line. He actually will block a shot or two. And he is underappreciated for how he's come a long way. So, but it's kind of like, it depends on how you look at it. Shadows. I like Shadows of the Night, but I got to go with Heart, though. Something about Never. Nick never really got questioned about it. He never really got questioned about it. He was all right. My top 3 defensive lineup. Oh, out them 2 for regular season? AI. Because he could go at it. T-Mac was better to watch, though. No, they beat them in the regular season. I don't think they 5-1 in the regular season, but 0-4 in the postseason. They gets no cake. They gets no silverware. They gets no napkin. They get some crumbs. They ain't got it. They got to beat them in January. Yeah, I'm not impressed. Because that's what matters. It's money time. Shoot. Though that's embarrassing. Did you see Higgins and them? They clowned the Bengals defense in the locker room. I was like, man, it's like they suck. They say y'all suck. Y'all need to bring. Well, they right. Now the Cowboys ain't as bad as the Bengals. At least when y'all give up 40, y'all get your butt toe up, except for they won't give against Green Bay. But the Bengals to let Caleb Williams hit a 58-yard bomb down the gut, get beat like that, is embarrassing. The Bengals just are just atrocious. They are atrocious. And they don't have to be that way. They're the worst than Dallas because they got a coach that been to an AFC championship game, went to a Super Bowl. And they just can't do nothing. So that's past embarrassing. I think it's the coach. I think basically they don't know how to really set no place for Bantoro, and they are just a team that just think that whatever they did last year, they're gonna magically shoot themselves into something, and that's what they tend to do. They don't have the right kind of balanced leadership on the court. And sometimes it take these cats to be hard headed for when they wake up. Yeah, so that's how I look at that. Let me see what we got real quick. 69% saying yes about the Cowboys. Y'all need to come up to about 79, 89%. What y'all talking about? Y'all know good well that they suck. He's top 15 ever for me. And he's got a chance to keep going up. Of course, the Eagles. Ain't nobody else going to touch them. Shoot. Who else in the NFC East? I mean, really? Come on now. Philly can be average the rest of the season. They got tiebreaker. They split with the Giants. They beat Dallas once. All I gotta do is beat that butt one more time. Beat Washington twice. That's it. That's it. Yeah, show a 2 rings, about to perform an MVP. Even if he just becomes a stat dude, the fact that he led him to 2 rings in baseball, I'm not sold either. Um, they beat him. They beat their butt though. I'm not arguing with you because the reality is the way they got lost to the Patriots, the way they had to come back against the Ravens. I'm not sold on them. Um, I ain't missed nothing. Let's see. No, I'm not. I'm keeping it real. Tell us I see in the postseason. I ain't sold on it. NFC Central. I want to say, dang, I want to say Detroit, but I don't know because I'm not sold on Chicago. They too wishy washy. Don't play no defense. That would be hilarious if they did. And then Caleb Williams would shut up everybody because he got more detractors. I got high expectations for what? High expectations for what? You supposed to have expectations. Shoot, this nothing but parity in NFL. If your team is halfway good, you supposed to believe you can win. We're not in an era. We don't have no dominant teams. Who's dominant in NFL? Who? Everybody looks beatable. They know how to win. And once they get past the midway point, don't let Saquon Barkley get going, and don't let Jalen gets a few games. AJ Brown get going. They stacked the line really well against him. They met him at the mountain. That's all. But remember, they still only lost by 7. So it's one of those situations that if you look at that game probably 100 different ways in time, it's fairly close, considering how mistake flawed the you know I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're dominant. They're consistent. I'm not gonna say they're dominant. Philly is still dominant. Yeah, they got him. Two things can be true at the same time. He is overrated, and they just beat the Colts. But they're not a team that I think they're gonna go out and win the AFC. Who thinks Pittsburgh is a threat? And who thinks Aaron Rodgers is playing so good that he's gonna turn the clock and pull a Tom Brady and run out into the sunset with a chip? I don't think no one's gonna go for that. Proving me wrong, how? I respect them. I'm not a fan of them, but I respect them. And they're not going to do nothing before you ask me because Jalen Brown, again, they need both those guys to play. They got to play the defense. They're too loose to change. I hate proving me wrong. Sorry, I told you about the Celtics. I respect them, but Joe Mazzulla got to do a better job of finishing up. You can't be blowing all those leads. And, they just, and then Jason Tatum, when he's healthy. I think a lot of people want New York, some want Cleveland. Hard to put in perspective. Wouldn't say easy though. I wouldn't say easy because if Baltimore gets going, I won't say easy. And you better hope. So, Prime Rogers is better than Breeze because Breeze didn't really. Breeze even had it easier than Rogers. New Orleans played an old soft division. He didn't even dominate that. He just, I don't know. He had it good. He had the right coach too. Um, if I had to pick one player, I had to say Bill Russell because he fundamentally was tapped into winning as a player coach and what he could do and the intricacies. He understood pressure. So I have to say him. That's my take. Yeah. Dan Fouts out those two. Because Phillip Rivers was a gunslinger and he honestly constantly underachieved. Had opportunities too. I said Dan Fouts. But yeah, if I had to pick one player, I'm taking Bill Russell. And Prime Rogers, I got over Breeze. Because I just think Breeze had a chance to really stockpile and he didn't. And I don't know what happened to him in the postseason. Well, I know what happened. He got outplayed by Kaepernick. I remember the Seahawks beat him. Just never looked consistent. We starting Vince Carter. We're going to bench Anthony Edwards and we're cutting Jason Richardson. Because Vince had a if Ant is played in spurts, but Vince had that kind of thing. Plus, he played forever and a day. No, I'm just waiting on someone to talk about it. I think the problem with them is that they don't have enough. Matt LaFleur as a head coach doesn't give them enough plays to run. So they have a tendency to get complacent. And I think that that's the biggest problem with the Packers because he did it with Aaron Rodgers and he's doing it with Jordan Love. They playing too close to the vest. You know, you losing games to Carolina and Cleveland 16-13, 13-10. Those kind of games that you don't finish up, you're not a finishing team. That's on the coach. So looks all right, but I mean, again, he got to play. They got to keep Jefferson engaged. They got to, you know, they got to make a statement, and they got a second half of the season to make a statement. So it's gonna be work. No, because it goes in that order for me. That's not challenging. Dwight Howard was better than Rick Smith and Marcus All put together. You're talking about a guy that's a borderline top 75 player and Hall of Fame and credentials. Rick Smith was a good, serviceable center, played good. Marcus All, serviceable. But those guys weren't Dwight Howard. And I'll take Smiths over Marcus All. Because if you brought Rick Smith's style out here today, yeah, but I still take Rick Smith's though. If the Pacers someone like Rick Smith, they win a ring right now. So, and I like Marc Gasol, but Rick Smith could give you a little bit more. But Dwight Howard, come on now, Dwight. We sit here and could debate if he's top 75. You don't look at Rick Smith and Marc Gasol combined and think they top 100. I'm just saying. But if I had to, I'd have to start. I'd put Smith off the bench. I'm putting in that order. But Rick and Mark would be a good battle. Mark might got him with the 3-point, but Rick Smith could definitely bang. Patrick, because he had a he had an offensive game. That's what hurts Dwight Howard. Dwight had an offensive game, he'd be top 10. He'd probably be somewhere 7 to 9. Parrish is gonna start. Boy, it gets tough here because I probably gotta bench Brad Darty. He was like Jordan when he came out of college. He just got hurt. He was a precursor to Duncan. A lot of people don't know how bad Brad Darty was. I like Ralph Sampson's athleticism, but Sampson never got the half of what he was in college in the NBA with Dream. I'm taking Robert Parrish. He was a smarter player, and he had a shot too. It was an ugly shot, but he had a shot. And Parrish came up big. Dwight will never come up against guys that had an offensive game, some kind of repertoire. What's interesting? What I see? What's interesting? If you take the looking at Dwight because he's bulky and big, but where's his offensive game? So I'll give you a case in point. When the Lakers played the Magic in the finals, Phil stuck Derek Fisher in them. They was poking him and stripping him. He didn't have no strength on the ball. Yeah. Because Parrish asked for Larry Bird. He used to call him the Chief. Yeah, but if he was that good, they would have had more of a run. He didn't really do much in that finals against the Lakers. They stripped him. Now, well, I don't know what your idea of a beast is. Idea of a beast to me is a cat that can put up 25, 27 points to go with the 10, 12, 14 rebounds and assists and blocks. He ain't do that. No, for me, listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Most of those cats, yeah, listen, I will give him that. But what happened when he went to the Lakers a couple years? Kobe called him soft. Kobe went out and said, "It took you coming here to make me appreciate Shaq." Because the guy was big, dumb, and a goofball. And if you want to know the truth, Andrew Bynum was a better offensive player than Dwight Howard was. Dwight was a better defensive player. Dwight had no offense. If he had at least 22, 23 points of offense in him, we're talking about him as a top 6 or 7 greatest center ever. Because his defense on Jokic back then was on point. He just can't. Yeah, but it wasn't an effective 20. No one is afraid of him on offense. You can go ask some people who know. So like I'm talking out my head. Go ask some people and talk about Dwight Howard where he ranks offensively. We know what he can do on defense. I'm talking about his offense. Most cats ain't gonna give it to him. They gonna tell you that he's boo boo. Starting Elton Brand, benching Tom Gugliotti, and I'm cutting Juwan Howard. And you know that one's tough and personal for me because I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan, but Juwan ain't left no mark like neither one of those two. Googs was good with Minnesota. And Elton Brand was one of my favorite point guards. I always said if he had got to play with somebody legit, power forward. But he never got a right PG to play with. But I'll take EB, Googs, and then Juwan. Because we don't talk about Jawani Man. And that's what they used to call him. And I make that up. I kid you not. All right, so I'll probably be on for about another 15 minutes. Already, I've been waiting. I like how you be thinking though, but no. I'm gonna start AC Green because for the fact that you could depend on him, that alone speaks volumes. I'm gonna have to bench Sam Mitchell and have to cut Kevin Looney because Looney is athletic, but it just doesn't really register. It just ain't really registered in his situation. Sam Mitchell played tough, but I gotta start AC Green though. I gotta start AC Green because I know he gonna start. So yeah, AC Green gonna definitely get it for me. I have much respect for AC. All right, now keep on coming. Kevin Johnson gonna start. Oh, who do I bench out those two turkeys? I got to bench Kyle Lowry, then I'm gonna cut Bibby. Kyle Lowry showed me a lot in Toronto when they won their chip. Miami got him too late and long in the tooth, but he showed me a lot. Bibby was a more talented player, but he couldn't do it. Oh, okay. Same thing. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Again, Francis is probably more talented than Lowry and just as talented as KJ. Never played up to his potential and really didn't utilize with y'all and became like a one trick pony. Guy started playing against 3 and 4 guys and didn't play team ball. And Francis is one of them disappointments because could have been really good as opposed to being like a broke Junior Whopper Allen Iverson. Skills, could shoot, could move, could jump, but just got, just didn't finish playing ball. He's frustrating. There's always cats like that. See, Kyle Lowry is one of my favorites because of one thing. He wasn't the best, but you weren't gonna outwork him. And when he was with Toronto, that's why he got that ring. He was big time. He played hard. Oh God. Why did you have to go here with this list? Let's see. Well, I tell you like this by default, Paul George and Sharif are gonna stay because Rudy Gay talked too much trash. So by default, by default, that's the only reason. Because usually I wouldn't do it. But if anybody talked too much yang and underachieved and was all in it, it was Rudy Gay. Because he made it sound like he was something deep. So I gotta cut him. Rudy Gay is so nauseating. He makes Paul George looks tolerable, and that's saying something. That's saying something for me. But that's how nauseating he is. Cause he talked that trash about if Memphis had him, they would have beaten the Heat when they got traded. And I'm like, no, no. If you had been a good cherry picker player, they probably would have, but no. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, dude, who is you talking to? You act like people don't be watching your whack games. They're talking about, what if y'all had me? We were like, they tried that already. How'd that turn out? I give you credit. You played 20 years, but man, look, ain't nobody sweating Rudy Gay after year 3. Cats be talking crazy. Need to be drug tested. You can't be giving me a bench cut start and you gonna put Rudy Gay and Paul George and I gotta pick the less of two evils. That's not fair. I gotta save Paul George because Rudy Gay was more heinous. You can't do that to me. Now Sharif I do for him was the quietest 20-point a game. You think I'm gonna let Sharif off? The quietest 20 points you ever heard of. Oh no, he was gonna make it 20 years because I'm gonna tell you why. Because one thing about the NBA, if you're halfway good, you can halfway play, and you grin, they'll find a way to keep you around. Jamal did too, and Jamal's frustrating too because yeah, he all that dancing and shuffling he did, and he never get in the starting lineup. And he bopped and weaved and was moonwalking and pop locking and breaking, and no, yeah. Cats play a long time, and I want to think it's because of baby mamas or something. Because they weren't doing it because they was actually gonna win nothing. And them days was gone. I don't even think those days ever came. I don't think. But now you ought to be ashamed of yourself putting Rudy Gay and I'll do Raheem and Paul George. That's hilarious. Because Sharif had the quietest 20 points ever. Yeah, I know. Look, I'll go back with Jamal. And Jamal had some sick handles and all that, but he was a 6 man for life. And then he just keep on, he was around. So all depends on how you look at it. Keep on hitting that like up, hit that subscribe up. It's gotten kind of quiet lately. I tell everybody, as long as you keep posting, everything's all good. All right. We're gonna see if anybody else is still posting. It got real quiet now. See what we got. Okay. That look everybody didn't kind of stop now, so They already played. What you mean who wins? They already played. Broncos tore their behind up last week. Did you not get the memo? If the Broncos lose to the Raiders, then they don't deserve to win the division. They should beat them by 17. If they don't beat them by double digits, they don't deserve to win the division. So the Raiders be lucky if they even win half a football game, let alone win another game as bad as they suck. They probably tell Gino to go ahead and take the males. They're not bad defenders though. Denver gotta win. Denver should easily win. The Raiders are garbage and a half. As long as he's got good video on the owner. And I also think that because he is half black, I think that's one thing that's saving him because Brian Flores got that lawsuit against Stephen Ross. You can't be fined too many without people raising their eyebrows such as. So I think that's going for him if they're for such a thing. But the Dolphins need a major overhaul on. Hmm. Well, that's funny. Yeah, he's still employed as long as he got a good video camera. Cause I don't know what he doing to be the coach. He must got Stephen Ross or somebody in a compromising position because they suck. They quit on him. They quit on Tua. Tyreek Hill looked old and broke down. Their defense is just embarrassing. I gotta believe if they halfway carried it, they won about 3 games right now. Play that. So we got nobody gonna win no 70 games this year. What you talking about? Who wins 70 games? Ain't nobody gonna do that. That's hilarious. Because if that happens, then they're gonna say, "Well, see, uh, I think that when teams lose, they compliment you 10+ games, then you get into it. But you don't want nobody that's just staggering like that. So nobody's gonna win no 70 though. Nice try though. You realize you gotta play out your mind. They'd have to play, and pretty much Chad Hogan would have to have like an incredible year. Jay Williams would have to come up with. I mean, if that's what you go for, you know, you know, they could, but I doubt they'll put that much effort into it. Takes a lot of work to do that. But that's one way Shea will finally get his due, though. Can't seem to get his due by winning scoring titles and conference finals MVP and then NBA MVP. He just can't get no love. So, yeah. Championship ring. Scoring titles is debatable. And I say that because it's like inflation. But when you win a ring, can't nobody take that from you. People can look at you because you were self indulgent and think that you won all those scoring titles. But how many rings did your team win? Were you putting your team in contention to win? So it could, unless of course it's a situation where you're absolutely playing for like Spain or El Segundo or some scrub team, and that's all you got for your glory. More power to you. But if you're playing in a position where you can win rings and you choose just a stat pad, then I want the chip. So I take the chip. Okay, I got 15 more minutes before my call today because I'll be on for like an hour and a half and I'm coming back tomorrow, probably a little bit earlier. So just let everybody get in the heads up. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so we got about 14 more minutes. Appreciate all the views and everybody that's come through. Win 10 conference finals. Because MVPs, does it really carry weight? Is anybody gonna walk up and say, "Oh, Steve Nash belongs in the same sentence with Steph Curry, Magic, by Oscar Robertson, and um yeah I can't think of who I'm gonna pick on, but when you win, you win. That's all. So if you win 10 scoring titles, you just No, I look at it like you not gonna. So let me give you an example. Earl Campbell and the Oilers went to back AFC Championship games. The refs took one of them away. That's a pretty strong statement. Do you know how hard it is? I mean, you get spoiled by certain guys who win a lot of rings, but everybody doesn't have a career like that. So you want to be knocking on the door as a team. You win as a team. Some people looking for status will say you only got one. I'm the kind of person I think it's impressive. Again, because Steve Nash got them got them MVPs. No one's gonna talk about him unless he went deep with that squad. Think about it. I kid you not. Hmm. I'll take on to the conference finals. You playing for a chip. You can get all those amenities. Yeah. Hmm. I'll take one as the main. And if you're a role player, it depends on who you are. You gotta give me a good example. So you be Ben Wallace to Robert Ory. Think about it. So, but I think they're both winners. I mean, everybody has to, but to be the main dude, you have to take the brunt of the blame. Can't sustain that, and you got all your sidekicks or teammates that ready to call you friend and be respectful. So I'll take the ring though. The everyone always remembers the main guy who wins a ring. Everybody does. They just do. Because unless you Robert Ory, no one's gonna sit around and talk about John Paxson unless you know, they always talk about guys with a bunch of rings. Uh, yes, he was, because if you go back into '03, he was in the top 10 for league MVP. Let Wikipedia be your best friend. Yes, he was. He was a star. I didn't say he was a superstar, but he was the catalyst because everything ran through him. Ben Wallace was considered MVP consideration in '03. Look it up. And he was a star player. I didn't say Tayshaun Prince. I didn't say. I just said, you know. It's a few. Okay. Yeah, the Colts. They, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that Sauce Gardner. I heard about that. I don't know if that's gonna mean anything for him, but we'll see though. Got pretty good vote so far. I'm taking Marino. No questions asked. Arm was strong, mobile. Yeah, just things he could do. But I'm taking Dan Marino. Marino was still Marino's probably the baddest quarterback that you gotta think of without a ring, without a doubt. And still the toughest release I've ever seen. I think I did something like that, but I what I'll do, it'll be a future video. Won't be no time soon. It'll be a future video. Because I swore I did something like that before. And I'll tell you something too. Montana would have about a couple rings with Shula because um, he would have figured out with the Marx brothers. He was very poised. They had enough defense too. AJ Dewey, they had good enough defense. So yeah. Um, I don't know. Against Philadelphia, I don't know. I don't know. They did lose to the 49ers. I don't know. I'd have to see them against some heavyweights. 49ers, the Rams got them. I'd have to see some proof before I make some statement like that. And I haven't seen anything that would make me think, but I'll say this. They're probably the most dangerous team because they're the team that, okay, second tierish, and depend on what the 49ers and the Rams do, but they're the next line. You don't want to mess with them. I saw that game. He tore they behind up. In fact, he was a blueprint to how to beat them. No, he didn't. He played an incredible game that Monday Night Football. He lit their butt up, if you must know. He lit that butt up. That's the only team I seen that made the Bears look ordinary. He lit that butt up so bad that even Singletary's eyes was like open and shut instantaneously. I give her credit's due. Marino was bad. But if you swap Marino and Montana, they both win rings in respectable places. Because Montana had he led Kansas City to the AFC Championship game against the Bills. Got to be on point back then. I remember. No, the Bears beat the Patriots. You get it mixed up. Miami played the 49ers in 84. Miami was the only team to beat the Bears in the regular season when they did the Super Bowl shuffle. It was Tony Eason and the Patriots in the fridge and end zone. Sadly, Walter Payton didn't get to score the 46-10 game. I remember. Marino went up against the 49er team that locked him up, though. They locked up the Marx brothers. No, see, I heard you got it mixed up. The Patriots were the year before. They lost to. Mm-hmm. So we just saying stuff. You don't know. Anyway, I just got through telling you that's what happened was in that Super Bowl. They beat the Patriots. Now New England did beat Miami in the AFC East Championship game. That's true. Craig James went off. At SMU Express with Craig James and Eric Dickerson. Mm, okay. And this is where I usually get ready to go because people just stop talking, and so you wonder why I got kind of bop because and no one's in the morning. So, and we had a great show tonight though. It was great. I'm glad everybody came through. Got an hour and a half in, just like I set out to do. The rebroadcast will be up for a while, so if you want to watch the video, feel free. If you want to join me, got subscribe, etc., feel free. Get in touch with me. And if you got something that's hot and burning or depressed, feel free to tell me. Looking forward to it also. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay real, stay true. Appreciate everybody that came through. And I am planning on being back on tomorrow and Thursday. So, because I was on here, I was on here yesterday. So, I'm leaving them 3 days. Try to get my 3 day quota in. Maybe 4. Depends if I get enough interest, but definitely 3. So that's how it is, though. So peace and the best. And I'm out one time. Appreciate you. Peace.